Have you heard your road to feeling better physically and emotionally starts right now? Have you heard that? Well, hey, I'm Deb Courtney. I'm here to talk about this topic for what things that I have used in my life and what has worked for me. I want to share them with you. By all means, this is not all there is. These are just a few ideas, a few thoughts, a few suggestions that has worked for me. So here we go. The first thing I want to say is get your personal needs met. Now, that can be a lot of different things. That can look like financially, personal needs. That can look like nutritionally, personal things, health-wise, personal things, family situations, brothers, sisters, situations, mom, dad situations, whatever your personal need is, get those needs met simply because if you don't, guess what? You live in frustration. I don't know of anybody that says, you know what, I love my life because it is so frustrating. I've never had anybody say that. So whatever that looks like, go to whatever resources, and there's plenty of resources out there that you can go to. But let me tell you this, you're going to have to do your own due diligence. You're going to have to be intentional. It's not going to fall out of the sky in your lap and say, here I am. Doesn't work. Never works. You have to be intentional of getting your needs met, whether it's physically, emotionally, socially, financially, relationship-wise, psychologically, and on and on and on. You have to be intentional on getting your personal needs met. And I would suggest, whatever that looks like for you, wherever you're at in your life, however age you are, do your due diligence. And guess what? When you do that, it builds your confidence. It gives you, you get that aha moment like, wow. And it's really not as hard as you may think it is. So do that. The next thing I would suggest is redesign eating and lifestyle habits. This is something I work on day in and day out because I'm always trying to figure out what do I need to tweak in order to make me to have the lifestyle, the eating, the body, the feeling, the emotionals, the psychological things. What is it that I need to work on? Because where I'm at is not working. And so I'll tell you what, there's a saying that goes something like this. If you keep on doing what you've always done, you keep on getting what you've always got. I don't know if everybody's heard that saying or not, but it's true. So when you say to yourself, and you have the conversations with yourself, I don't like the way I feel after I eat a certain thing. Okay, not a problem. Then what steps can you take to redesign your eating habits? What can you replace it with, or what steps can you take in order to redesign that eating habit and lifestyle habit? I'll tell you what. I don't eat beef or pork. I stopped eating beef and pork probably 20, maybe 25 years ago. And and this is just Deborah Courtney, nobody else. This is just what works for me. Once I did my due diligence in regards to that, then I wanted to see how my body would help me and react to not eating beef and pork. There are other things that I don't eat, but that comes to my mind right now. So I redesigned. This is just an example. I redesigned eating for myself. Now, if you like beef and pork, continue going for it. Continue eating it. It's not a problem. I'm not saying it's right or wrong for anybody other than it did not fit my own personal lifestyle of where I wanted to be in my future self. And so I redesigned that and found other things that would give me what I needed as far as nutrition is concerned in eating, and then lifestyle habits. Lifestyle habits can be a whole lot of things. It could be going to bed at a certain time, getting up at a certain time, drinking a gallon of water a day, having, a certain room temperature. Those things, as you go down the road of life in your journey, as you think, you'll change. I have found out, and I have intentionally done this, okay? I'm going to pause here just a minute. I have intentionally found out that every 5 years, you won't think like you did 5 years earlier. What I mean by that is when you're 20, you won't think like you did when you're 15. When you get 25, you won't think like you did when you were 20. I have found out that in about that amount of years, increments, that thinking changes, body changes, hormones change, a lot of other things change. And so you can, if you intentionally watch it, for me, I could see the shift coming. And I could see it even when I got like halfway in that 5-year period. I could see how the shift was coming, like with my thinking, and how I felt about something or how I thought about something. And so it happens. And so in doing that, then it helped me to understand where I was in the process and how, and I really wasn't upset about it because I knew the shift would be taking place. And when I got 5 years down the road, I wasn't upset, I wasn't discouraged, I wasn't mad or sad or anything, because I knew that that's kind of the maturing situation way that life goes. Everybody's different. I'm not saying you'll be this way, but I just letting you know this is what has worked for me. The next point is establish a reserved time of energy, money, and love. You have to be intentional about that. To have a reserve of time, to set aside a certain amount of time for money, working, saving, energy, whether that be physical energy as far as going to work, how all that looks like, love, and what all that looks like with you. You have to, for me, I had to intentionally establish a reserve of time to do those things. And when I did that, I was not overwhelmed in regards to money and love and working out, energy, going to work, doing the things that I needed to do in order to live the life that I was living at the time. So when you do that, to me, I found out that I was not as overwhelmed with life. I was not overwhelmed with not having enough money. Not overwhelmed with where I was at in regards to my spouse and love and how that looked like between him and I. I wasn't overwhelmed with energy as far as not having enough energy. What did I need to do? What steps did I need to implement in regards to energy, money, love, health, anything else that is on my radar? I intentionally established a reserve of things that helped me day in and day out. And when I did that, I wasn't overwhelmed. Next thing I would say is to get your house in order, to get your car in order, to get your office in order. Now, I know, and I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, that if you're not an order person, it happens. I live with a person, my husband, who desks always look messy. Always look messy. And so when he would leave and go somewhere, maybe he would just take a weekend trip with some of his buddies, go fishing, I would clean up, okay? I would clean up, and I would straighten up his piles of paper, newspaper, books, things of that. Whatever he had on his desk, I would straighten it up. Well, when he got back, guess what? I can't find anything. Well, what do you mean you can't find anything? Because you've straightened everything up. I can't find anything. And that was his personality. That's how he was. You may or may not know anybody that you come in contact with occasionally or maybe every day that is like that. And he said, I just wish you'd leave my desk alone. But you know what? Me having the personality that I have, I like everything neat and order. And so, and anything that I did with him as far as laundry or things of that nature, it was all neat and order. It wasn't scattered to and from. So you have to find a way to have a win-win situation when it comes to having an organized home or office. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It would be nice because let me tell you, perfect, the word perfect is the best word for me in the English language. I love perfect, okay? But not everybody is like that. Well, and you've probably heard opposites attract, and it is true. So what I was strong in, he was weak in. What he was strong in, I was weak in. So we had that dance, and it worked for us. However, if possible, if you can have a home that's tidy, tidy, and you have to do it. It's like everything else. It does not matter come fall in your lap. You're going to have a tidy house, tidy car, tidy office, whatever. You have to do it. And you just have to work with it. You have to find that win-win situation. Even with yourself, if you're the person dealing with, like, I like the way I like the way I have everything scattered. I know where everything's actually at. But maybe I just need to tidy up the piles a little bit. It's okay to have piles. Now, he had his piles. He had his piles. I just kind of tidied up the piles. So I guess he kind of conceded to the fact that it wasn't going to work with him and I, that I was going to tidy his piles up. And so he could ask me anything. He said, well, I can't find so-and-so. And I'd go right to it. It was right here in this pile. But anyway, that's just some pointers that I know that I have dealt with over the years, and it's worked with me. You just have to, with your spouse and kids, you just kind of have to work with that. So try to make it a win-win situation. Glad you found me. Glad I found you. Go out and make it a great day, and I'll see you again next week.